Hi everybody, it's Karen from Scrappy Connect Studios, and I'm here today for May Arts Ribbon to share with you a little tutorial on creating these apple-inspired mason jar treat containers. So let's get going. Okay, so let's talk about what you're going to need to actually make this particular treat container. Start with a wide mouth mason jar with a matching lid, and then you're going to need some treats to put inside. I like the caramel to kind of make a caramel apple treat container. You'll need some vinyl. This is just craft vinyl, the stuff that you use to put on your walls. Some nice pair of scissors. And then you're going to need some acrylic paint. Doesn't matter if it's craft paint or artist's acrylic paint, just make sure it's acrylic paint so it adheres to your jar. And then you'll need a nice soft craft paintbrush. Make sure it's soft. The bristly, harder ones will leave streaks in your paint. And then let's talk about the pretty ribbon. So we'll use some of the leaves ribbon and then some of the variegated stripe ribbon. I love this. It's one of my favorites right now. I've just kind of pre-tied it into a little bow as well. And then we'll need some of the burlap string to go with our project. So that's really it. Any variation of these products will do, but that's what I'm going to be using to share with you today. So the first thing we want to do is use our vinyl to create the little peephole. We're going to work on the opposite side from the little label on the jar. So we've got a nice flat surface to adhere to. And I'm just going to line up and just kind of cut down along my vinyl where the bottom of my jar is. You can be more precise than me and do some measuring, but I'm a little too lazy to do that. So now I'm just going to take the vinyl and fold it back on itself like this, and just basically cut in a heart shape, just like you used to do with your Valentines when you were a kid, so that I get a nice symmetrical heart shape, just like this. Perfect. And I think I just need to trim off. I think I just want it to be a little more narrow just on the kind of the width, so we'll just kind of trim it off just like that. And you can play with it. You can put it up against your jar and see if you like the size and the shape. And then you're kind of all set to go. So then what you do is you just peel off the back of the vinyl. Essentially what we're doing here is just creating or using a resist technique. So we're going to paint over top of this vinyl, and then when we peel it off, of course this part of the jar won't be painted and you'll be able to see the treat inside. So again, I'm working on the opposite side of the label, just like this, and I'm just going to kind of line it up this and stick it down. And the great thing here is if you don't put it in the right spot, like me, mine's crooked, see it's higher on one side than the other, you can just peel it up. Just be careful because you don't want to kind of nick the edge of it, but the vinyl's really strong. And then you just kind of peel it up and then place it down. Again, a little straighter this time. Perfect. So now we're all ready to do the painting. This is my favorite part. I love to paint. Okay, so I'm just going to mix up my acrylic paint, give it a good shake, especially if you haven't used it for a while. And then again, being a little bit of a lazy crafter, I just use the paint that's in the lid. Just make sure again that you have kind of given it a good shake, and using really smooth, nice, easy strokes, I'm just going to paint right over top of the vinyl decal that I've put on and all the way around my jar. The great thing about working with the jar is if you put your one hand inside the jar, you can kind of paint around the whole outside without your fingers ever getting in the way. Now, we're actually going to be doing multiple layers of the paint to cover up the jar. If you like more of a look where you can kind of see through it, then even one layer will do on this. You want to make sure that your jar is clean, and you also need to understand that this isn't a permanent way of painting the jar. The acrylic paint is basically just a plastic, and so it's going to sit on the surface and it will get nicked, and you can actually just completely wash it off, which I actually like about this project. So just know that it's not meant to be a permanent fixture to this jar, just enough to make it look cute and give it to your recipient, and then they can always reuse the jar later on if they want. So just painting all around the jar here, nice, smooth, even strokes. Again, this is why you want a nice soft brush. And now you've got to be patient and you've got to wait and let it completely dry. Don't touch it till it's dry. All right, so I want to show you what this looks like. I've actually gone ahead and done 3 layers of paint on this particular jar. You're going to notice I can touch it, the paint doesn't come off, but I do want to lift up the heart now just to kind of show you that process. If you don't wait until your paint is dry, this paint will peel off with your piece of vinyl. So you really want to be patient with this part of the process, but you can see how easily it comes off. Now, if you find that some of the paint has kind of leaked under the edge, just take a pair of scissors or something with a sharp edge and just scrape it off. It's really easy. It comes off really easily, and you can kind of clean up the edge of your little heart shape I've done this project a few times and I've had to clean it up maybe half of the times that I've done it. But again, super easy to do. This is always my favorite part because this is when the project actually comes together. So I'm basically putting my lid together. The lid I have actually pre-painted. Same process that you do with the jar, just do it on your lid and use green paint this time. So we're going to fill up the jar with the treats and put the lid on. And the reason is it's just going to help you kind of line up things as you're going and decorating. So now I'm taking some of the variegated stripes ribbon and I'm actually starting in the front and wrapping it all around. This is 1/2 inch ribbon, by the way, and it's the perfect width for the lid of the mason jars. So I'll just kind of trim it at the correct length. It's probably about just under a yard, I would say, of ribbon that's going to go around the edge here. And I'm using hot glue to glue it in place. Anything that will stick onto the metal will be perfect. You're actually gluing it onto the paint and not onto the actual metal. So whatever glue is your preference will be fine. I just like the hot glue because it's quick and easy. Okay, so there we go. Now, of course, I want to cover up that little seam. So that's why I used the little bow that I just pre-tied out of the ribbon. And again, I'll just use a bit of hot glue and put it right over the seam of the ribbon. And then you get this beautiful look all the way around the lid of your jar. And then we need to use, I forgot to mention this in the instructions, it's just a little piece of wood dowel. And I've just painted it brown. This also works really well just with cardboard. You can just roll a little piece of cardboard. It looks super cute. You get lots of texture. And you just glue that on. It's supposed to be the stem of your apple. Now, just be careful because that is actually glued on again to the paint and not onto the metal. So if you pull too hard on that little stem, it will just peel off. So just be careful. Now we're taking some of the leaves ribbon and just gluing that right up against the stem, just like that. And I'll just take those little pieces off. And that's already really cute. But just to finish off where the stem attaches to the lid, I just like to wrap a little piece of burlap twine. Again, just to add a little more texture. This looks really cute too. I'm all out of the brown, but it looks really cute if you use the brown twine as well on here. So we'll just tie this up and add a little knot onto the end. And then just going to press this down with my thumbs all the way down onto the edge or the kind of where the two pieces meet together. We'll just trim this up a bit. So there we go. We're all set to go. These make great teacher gifts. They also make great fall gifts, but anytime you really want to bring a smile to someone's faces, these are a really cute gift to bring along. So I hope you've enjoyed this little tutorial on creating these caramel apple mason jar treat containers. So don't forget to come on over to the May Arts website blog, and of course the website as well, to see the ribbons that were featured in this video, but all sorts of other inspiration as well. Thanks for watching today.